Commander Elias Hart took a deep breath as the doors of the interstellar shuttle slid open. Before him stretched a world unlike anything he had ever imagined. The sky shimmered with pale gold light, reflecting off towers made of a crystal-like material that glowed from within. Rivers of luminescent liquid wound through the city like threads of silver and green, casting a soft glow on the walkways and bridges. He had seen many planets in simulations and holovids, but nothing could have prepared him for the reality of Zoreth Prime. Elias stepped forward, his boots clicking softly on the smooth, translucent surface beneath him. Around him, his team of scientists and linguists moved with a mix of awe and careful excitement. The shuttle had landed near the Council's ceremonial plaza, where a crowd of Zorathians had gathered to witness humanity's first official visit. They were tall, slender beings, with graceful, elongated limbs and skin that seemed to shimmer subtly in the light. Their eyes were larger than human eyes, expressive and filled with curiosity, yet carrying a wisdom that spanned centuries. Elias had been trained for this moment for years, yet a strange nervousness tightened his chest. He reminded himself that he was a representative of all humanity. Every gesture, every word, every expression mattered. As the shuttle doors fully opened, a soft breeze carried an unfamiliar, almost musical fragrance that seemed to come from the air itself. Elias inhaled, marveling at the world that had once been only a star on a screen. Leading the Zorathian welcoming party was the Queen. She stood taller than any of her companions, her form elegant and commanding. Yet there was a calm gentleness in the way she held herself. Her eyes, large and deep, seemed to pierce into Elias's very soul. When he first saw her, a chill ran down his spine. Not from fear, but from the overwhelming sense of history and intelligence she carried. She was a being of legend, yet now she was real, and she was here to meet him. The ceremony began with soft, harmonious tones emitted from strange instruments, producing a sound that resonated through the plaza. The music was unfamiliar, yet comforting, touching something deep within Elias. The Zorathians moved with a quiet, synchronized grace, their gestures perfectly timed to the music, creating a rhythm that seemed both natural and otherworldly. Every movement was precise, yet full of emotion. A beautiful dance of culture and expression. Elias stepped forward, trying to match their rhythm in his own subtle way. He approached the Queen, who had remained motionless at the center of the plaza. Her gaze was steady, curious, almost as if she were observing not just him, but the history of humanity itself. When he stopped before her and bowed respectfully, she tilted her head slightly, acknowledging the gesture. The air seemed to grow quieter, the energy around them shifting in a way he could feel in his chest. He straightened and spoke, his voice clear and steady despite the flutter in his heart. "I am Elias Hart, commander of the Earth Interstellar Mission. It is an honor to meet you, Your Majesty." The Queen's eyes widened, and she took a small, almost imperceptible step back. A soft, stunned whisper escaped her lips. "This can't be." Elias froze, his mind racing. Had he mispronounced her name? Was there some error in translation? But no one else seemed alarmed. The council members surrounding the Queen exchanged glances, their expressions curious but calm. He realized that this reaction was not confusion, but recognition. Somehow, the mention of his name had caused a ripple through the very presence of the Queen. The Zorathian Council motioned for him to follow. Elias's team caught up quickly, their own curiosity mirrored in wide eyes and hushed whispers. They walked through halls that seemed alive, walls shimmering with patterns that shifted like flowing water, colors that changed depending on the angle and light. The architecture was unlike anything seen on Earth. It was functional yet artistic, practical yet breathtakingly beautiful. It was a civilization that had mastered both technology and aesthetics in a way humans could only aspire to. The Queen led Elias into a chamber that glowed softly, illuminated by light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. The room was filled with holographic projections of stars, planets, and galaxies, spinning slowly in intricate patterns. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal that held a small, crystal-like device. Elias felt drawn to it, sensing an energy he could not describe. "This chamber," the queen said, her voice melodious and gentle, "is where we record memory, history, and knowledge. It is a place of truth and reflection." She paused, studying Elias intently. "Your arrival was not unexpected. Yet your presence is—" Elias's brow furrowed slightly. "I don't understand. What do you mean by extraordinary?" She looked at him with a strange mixture of awe and disbelief. "You carry a name and a form that have not appeared in our records for millennia. The stories spoke of one like you, yet we thought it was a legend. To see you standing here now—" She trailed off, her eyes reflecting the spinning stars around them. Elias felt a strange connection, something beyond explanation. He had always felt a curiosity about the stars, about life beyond Earth, but he had never imagined that meeting another intelligent civilization would feel like stepping into a story written long before his birth. It was as if he were part of a history that had been waiting for him. The scientists accompanying him moved closer to the pedestal, examining the crystalline device. It pulsed softly with light, as if reacting to their presence. One of them, Dr. Liana Rojas, whispered to Elias, "It's amazing. It feels like it's alive, or at least aware of us." The queen nodded. "It is aware. In a manner of speaking, it records the essence of those who have come before, those who have influenced our civilization. And now, it records you." Elias reached out cautiously, and as his fingers brushed the crystal, visions flashed before his eyes. He saw images of humans he did not know, yet felt familiar, walking among Zorathians, sharing ideas, building wonders. There were scenes of joy, of discovery, of collaboration that spanned centuries. And then he saw one figure, an early human visitor who resembled him in appearance, carrying a presence that mirrored his own. The realization struck him deeply. Humanity's connection to this civilization was far older than anyone had ever imagined. The stories of space exploration, of distant worlds, of interstellar diplomacy, were not just dreams. They were echoes of events that had occurred long before humans had even left their solar system. The queen watched him carefully, noting the changes in his expression. "You carry the resonance of one who came before. It is rare for a species to return after so long, unchanged in form but renewed in spirit. Humanity has potential that we had only glimpsed in legends." Elias's mind swirled with questions, but he kept his voice steady. "If I may ask, why is my name so significant?" The queen's eyes softened. "Because your name, your presence, fulfills a story that we thought would never continue. It is not just a name, it is a bridge between our civilizations, a symbol of what can be achieved when beings of curiosity, courage, and creativity meet across the stars." The chamber seemed to hum with energy, and Elias felt a warmth spread through him, not just physically but emotionally. He understood then that this mission was more than diplomacy. It was a meeting of worlds, a chance to build understanding and cooperation that could change the course of history for both species. As the first part of the tour concluded, the queen guided Elias to a window overlooking the city. Below, humans and Zorathians were beginning to mingle, observing each other, learning each other's ways, sharing knowledge and ideas. Children, human and Zorathian alike, played near the glowing rivers, laughing in ways that transcended language. Elias felt a profound sense of purpose. Humanity had come to the stars seeking knowledge and friendship, and already, they were beginning to find it. The wonder in the queen's eyes, the curiosity of the council, the openness of the city, it all spoke of a future where humans could not only survive among the stars but flourish. For the first time, Elias understood that being human was not just about what they had achieved on Earth. It was about what they could achieve when given the chance to reach beyond, to inspire, to create, and to connect. And standing there, on a world that was both alien and welcoming, he felt the weight of that possibility, the spark of something extraordinary that had been waiting for centuries to be realized. The queen's gaze lingered on him, and she whispered again, softly, almost to herself, "This can't be. And yet, it is." Elias smiled, a mixture of wonder and determination filling his heart. Humanity's story among the stars was just beginning, and for the first time, he truly understood the meaning of possibility. Elias could still feel the queen's gaze as he walked through the glowing corridors of the palace. Every surface seemed to shimmer softly, reflecting light in ways that humans could not fully understand. The Zorathians moved with quiet grace around him, speaking in their melodic language that somehow felt gentle and soothing, even when he could not comprehend the words. His translators worked rapidly, converting the sounds into his own language. But the tone, the emotion, and the rhythm carried a deeper meaning that went beyond words. The queen led him into a larger chamber, one that seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions. Holographic images floated above pedestals, showing planets, moons, and stars in constant motion. Elias's eyes widened as he realized that this was not just a display, but a living map of the galaxy as the Zorathians knew it. Each star seemed to pulse softly, as though alive, connected to the others in a vast network of knowledge and energy. "This chamber contains the records of our civilization," the queen explained, her voice calm but carrying a weight that made Elias listen more closely. "Everything we know, everything we have discovered, is preserved here. But there are things that cannot be stored in records alone. Some knowledge must be recognized, understood, and experienced. That is why your presence here is important." Elias felt a shiver of anticipation. "Experience? What do you mean?" he asked. The queen's eyes softened. "Long ago, someone like you visited our world. Not a human from Earth as you are, but a being with the same appearance, the same spirit. They left impressions in our history that were meant to be remembered until the right moment, until someone like you could continue their story. When I heard your name, the records confirmed it. It matched the one who had come before. That is why I reacted as I did. That is why I whispered, 'This can't be.'" Elias's mind raced. A human who had visited this civilization long ago? How was that possible? Humanity had only just begun to explore the stars. The stories, the legends he had heard from his ancestors, suddenly felt closer to reality than myths. The queen gestured toward one of the floating holographic displays. Images of a human figure appeared, moving among the Zorathians. The figure was clearly human, yet something about them seemed otherworldly. They shared knowledge, built structures, and collaborated with the Zorathians in ways that Elias could feel, even through the images. "That person," the queen said, "shaped the way we viewed other species. They were not here to conquer or claim, but to learn, to share, and to understand. That spirit was rare, and we have waited for it to return." Elias stared at the images, feeling a connection he could not explain. Something deep inside him stirred, a recognition that went beyond logic. He realized that humanity's place among the stars was not accidental. There was a pattern, a history, and he had stepped into it without knowing. One of the scientists accompanying him, Dr. Liana Rojas, leaned closer and whispered, "Commander, look at this. The artifacts we brought, they are interacting with their technology. It's almost as if they recognize us." Elias nodded, feeling the truth of her words. The crystal devices they had collected from the shuttle began to glow softly, resonating with the energy in the chamber. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. Humans and Zorathians shared more than curiosity. They shared a potential for cooperation that had been waiting to awaken. The queen continued, guiding him toward a larger pedestal in the center of the chamber. The crystal there pulsed with light, brighter than any other. "This device holds the essence of the one who came before you. It is not alive in the way you understand life, but it carries memory, knowledge, and purpose. It waits for someone to recognize it, to continue the story." Elias reached out, his fingers trembling slightly. As soon as he touched the crystal, a rush of images filled his mind. He saw distant worlds, civilizations building bridges and cities, Humans and Zorathians working side by side in harmony. He felt joy, excitement, and a deep sense of purpose. But he also saw challenges. Moments where humans had to choose between fear and curiosity, between hesitation and action. When he withdrew his hand, he felt changed. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of the holographic displays. The Queen looked at him with eyes that held a mixture of relief and hope. "You are ready," she said. "The path forward requires understanding, creativity, and collaboration. Humanity has not yet realized the full extent of its potential, but you are the bridge that can show us what is possible." Elias felt a surge of responsibility. He had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but now he understood that exploration alone was not enough. Humans had the ability to inspire, to create solutions, and to connect with other civilizations in ways that went beyond technology. It was a gift, and it was a responsibility. The Queen gestured for him to follow her to another chamber. This one was quieter, more intimate, with walls that seemed to ripple like water. Here, the holographic images were of Earth, showing humans in their cities, forests, oceans, and deserts. The Queen's eyes lingered on the images, and Elias realized she was studying humanity itself, not just him. "Your species has remarkable qualities," she said softly. "Curiosity, creativity, empathy, and adaptability. These are not always obvious to you, but they define your potential. When combined with knowledge and understanding, they create something extraordinary." Elias felt a sense of pride mixed with humility. Humanity had achieved much, but he now realized how much more they could achieve when given the opportunity to reach beyond themselves. He thought of the scientists, engineers, artists, and explorers back on Earth, and the possibilities that awaited them among the stars. As he studied the images, he noticed that the crystal device in this chamber also responded to him. Light pulsed in patterns that seemed to follow his thoughts, as if it were learning from him, or perhaps teaching him in return. He realized that communication did not always require words. Understanding could be felt, shared, and experienced directly. The Queen watched him carefully. "You will not be alone," she said. "Your team, your people, and those who are open to learning will accompany you. But the first step must come from those who are willing to understand and to grow. That is why you are here." Elias' heart. He nodded, feeling the weight of her words. It was more than a mission. It was a journey of discovery. Not just for him, but for all humanity. He understood that this encounter was the beginning of a partnership that could shape the future of both species. Outside the chambers, the city of Zorath Prime continued its quiet, elegant rhythm. Humans and Zorathians mingled, observing each other's ways of life, sharing knowledge, and exchanging ideas. Children laughed as they explored, curiosity evident in every movement. The city itself seemed alive with possibility, a living testament to cooperation and creativity. Elias stepped onto a balcony overlooking the glowing rivers and crystal towers. The view was breathtaking, but more than that, it was inspiring. He saw a future where humans could flourish among the stars, not through conflict, but through collaboration, curiosity, and the shared pursuit of knowledge. The Queen joined him, her presence calm and reassuring. "You see, Elias' heart, the universe is vast, but it is not unreachable. Your species has the capacity to connect, to understand, and to inspire. The first step is always the hardest, but it is also the most important." Elias took a deep breath, feeling the enormity of the moment. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will do my best to honor this opportunity, to learn, and to share what we can offer. Humanity is ready to take the next step." The Queen nodded, a faint smile on her lips. "Then let us begin. The path ahead is full of wonder, and it is meant to be shared." As the sun of Zorath Prime dipped lower in the sky, casting long beams of golden light across the city, Elias felt a profound sense of purpose. The whispers of history, the resonance of the past, and the possibilities of the future All converged in this moment. Humanity had taken its first true step into a larger universe, guided not by fear or ambition, but by curiosity, creativity, and the desire to connect. For the first time, Elias Hart understood that the story of humanity was not just a tale of survival or exploration. It was a story of potential, of discovery, and of the extraordinary impact that even a single individual could have when they embraced their place in a larger universe. And as he looked out at the city, glowing with life and energy, he knew that the journey had only just begun. The next morning, Elias Hart awoke in a room filled with soft, natural light. The walls shimmered with a subtle pattern that reminded him of water rippling in a gentle breeze. He had slept soundly, though his mind was full of wonder and questions. Today would be the first day humans truly began working alongside the Zorathians, and he could feel the weight of responsibility resting on his shoulders. As he entered the main hall, he noticed humans and Zorathians already gathering in small groups. Scientists and engineers from Earth were examining the crystalline technology that had fascinated them since their arrival. Zorathian children laughed as they played with human children, showing each other games that combined imagination, movement, and creativity. The air was filled with curiosity, excitement, and a sense of possibility. The Queen arrived shortly after, her presence commanding attention without demanding it. Her eyes found Elias, and she smiled faintly. "Today, you will begin to understand the depth of potential in your species," she said. "Not through theory, but through action. Show us what humans can create when guided by curiosity and collaboration." Elias nodded. "We will do our best, Your Majesty." They were led to a central laboratory unlike anything Elias had seen. The walls were transparent, showing glimpses of the city outside. Yet the interior pulsed with light and energy. Crystalline devices floated in midair, each responding to the presence of those nearby. Tools, instruments, and holographic displays were arranged in ways that encouraged creativity rather than rigid procedure. The first task was simple yet profound: to design a system that could enhance the natural flow of energy throughout Zorath Prime. Using both human ingenuity and Zorathian technology, humans brought knowledge of Earth's renewable energy, problem-solving methods, and innovative thinking. Zorathians contributed centuries of understanding of energy flows, crystal dynamics, and environmental balance. Elias watched as his team collaborated with the Zorathians. Dr. Rojas demonstrated the human method of brainstorming, encouraging ideas without fear of error. Zorathians were initially cautious, having relied on precise logic for centuries, but they quickly adapted. The two species combined their approaches, producing designs that neither could have achieved alone. As they worked, the Queen observed silently, her eyes studying every interaction. When Elias noticed her gaze, he felt a mixture of pride and curiosity. "Are we meeting your expectations?" he asked. The Queen's lips curved into a faint smile. "You are surpassing them." Humans often underestimate their ability to contribute to a larger system. Yet here, you demonstrate creativity, flexibility, and empathy. These are qualities that cannot be replicated by logic alone, and they are invaluable. The day passed quickly, filled with collaboration, laughter, and shared discoveries. Elias noticed how humans and Zorathians began to understand each other without speaking. A nod, a gesture, a glance, small moments of connection bridged the gap between two very different species. The energy system began to take shape, an elegant network of flowing light and crystalline circuits, responding intuitively to environmental changes and human commands. By mid-afternoon, the first prototype was ready for testing. The team gathered in a large chamber where a model of the city had been recreated, complete with glowing rivers, towering spires, and miniature crystal devices. Elias activated the system, and the network of energy pulsed to life. Light flowed through the crystalline structures, moving gracefully and adapting to changes in the model. The Zorathians gasped, marveling at the way the system responded to input from both human and alien minds. The Queen approached Elias, her eyes wide with admiration. "You have shown something remarkable today," she said softly. "It is not just the system itself, but the spirit behind it. Humans do not simply build or follow, they imagine, they explore, they create. That is why your presence here is so significant. Elias felt a warmth spread through him. He realized that this moment was more than a success in engineering. It was a testament to what could happen when two civilizations approached a problem with respect, openness, and creativity. Humans had proven themselves not just capable, but inspiring. As the day continued, Elias and his team explored other areas of collaboration. Artists and musicians from Earth shared their talents, blending them with Zorathian styles to create new forms of expression. The Zorathians were fascinated, discovering emotions and ideas in human art that they had never experienced before. Music, painting, and storytelling became bridges of understanding, showing that creativity could communicate across species without words. In one corner of the city, human and Zorathian children gathered to experiment with floating devices that responded to movement and thought. Elias watched as a young Zorathian girl reached out, and a human boy mirrored her actions. Light patterns erupted around them, dancing in harmony with their movements. Both children laughed, eyes shining with joy and wonder. In that moment, Elias understood the true meaning of collaboration. It was not just about completing tasks or building systems. It was about connection, trust, and shared imagination. By evening, the team gathered in the palace courtyard. The sky glowed with the light of Zorath Prime's twin suns, casting long, golden reflections across the crystalline structures. The queen joined Elias and his team, her presence calm and reassuring. She gestured to the energy network that now illuminated parts of the city. Its flowing light, a symbol of cooperation and innovation. You see, Elias' heart, she said. This is what humans bring to the universe. Not domination or fear, but creativity, adaptability, and the ability to connect. These qualities have allowed your species to flourish in ways that are unique and invaluable, and they are precisely why your arrival was unexpected, yet necessary. Elias felt a deep sense of pride and responsibility. Humanity had long looked to the stars with curiosity and ambition, but now he understood that their potential was far greater than they realized. It was not just about exploring new worlds, it was about contributing to them, sharing knowledge, and building bridges that could last for generations. The queen led them to a quiet garden within the palace. Exotic plants glowed softly in the dim light, their colors shifting like living rainbows. The air carried a sweet, calming scent, and the soft hum of energy in the crystals created a gentle rhythm that made Elias feel at peace. Rest for now, the queen said. Tomorrow brings new challenges and discoveries. But remember this, every action, every idea, every moment of collaboration contributes to a larger story. Humanity is not simply visiting our world, you are becoming part of it, and in doing so, you are shaping the future of the stars. Elias nodded, feeling the truth of her words. He looked around at his team, at the Zorathians, and at the city that seemed to glow with possibility. The potential of this partnership stretched beyond technology or science. It was a meeting of hearts, minds, and spirits. Humanity's creativity, curiosity, and empathy were now recognized and valued in a way that no one on Earth could have imagined. As night fell, Elias stood in the courtyard, gazing up at the twin suns as they dipped below the horizon. The city lights reflected in the rivers, shimmering like liquid stars. He felt a quiet determination settle within him. The journey ahead would be long and filled with challenges, but the possibilities were endless. He thought of the queen's words, the children laughing, the energy network pulsing with life, and the shared excitement of his team. Humanity had taken the first true step into a larger universe. Not through force or fear, but through creativity, understanding, and collaboration. And in that moment, Elias knew that the story of humans among the stars was just beginning an extraordinary tale of potential, connection, and wonder. For the first time, he truly believed that humans could flourish among the stars. They could build, inspire, and create alongside other civilizations, proving that their intelligence and imagination were not limited to one planet. Humanity was more than explorers, they were builders, thinkers, and partners in a universe filled with possibilities. The queen approached him quietly, her eyes reflecting the light of the city. "Tomorrow, we will begin a new project," she said softly. "Something that will require both your knowledge and your imagination. But for now, rest and reflect. You have already shown what is possible, and that is a gift that cannot be measured by technology alone." Elias smiled, a mixture of gratitude and anticipation filling his heart. He understood now that the journey ahead was not just about discovery, but about creating a future where humans and Zorathians could grow together, learn from each other, and build a universe where possibility was limitless. As he turned back to the glowing city, he felt a profound sense of hope. Humanity's story among the stars was no longer a dream. It was real, alive, and full of promise. And in the quiet, gentle glow of Zorath Prime, Elias' heart knew that this was only the beginning of an extraordinary adventure. The next day dawned on Zorath Prime with a soft golden glow. Elias' heart felt a sense of anticipation as he stepped onto the balcony of the palace. Today marked the beginning of a new project, one that would not only test human creativity but also strengthen the bond between humanity and the Zorathians. The queen had promised that it would be extraordinary, and Elias could feel the weight of that promise in the energy of the city around him. He joined his team in the central laboratory, where the crystalline devices floated above the workstations, pulsing softly as if eager to participate. The Zorathians had arranged the space to encourage collaboration, their technology responding intuitively to movement, thought, and even emotion. Humans and Zorathians alike moved among the workstations, exchanging ideas, sharing sketches, and discussing strategies. The air was alive with excitement and possibility. The queen arrived, her presence commanding attention without demanding it. She smiled at Elias and the team. "Today, we create a network that will connect multiple star systems, sharing energy, knowledge, and inspiration. It will be a symbol of what can be achieved when species work together, guided not by power, but by understanding and imagination." Elias nodded, feeling both pride and responsibility. "We are ready, Your Majesty. We will do our best." The team divided into groups, each focusing on different aspects of the project. Human engineers worked alongside Zorathians to design the energy conduits, blending Earth technology with alien crystal systems. Scientists explored the properties of light, resonance, and environmental harmony, discovering ways to make the network adaptive and self-sustaining. Artists and designers collaborated to ensure that the system would not only function efficiently, but also inspire awe through its beauty. Elias moved among the groups, encouraging collaboration and listening to ideas. He marveled at how quickly humans and Zorathians adapted to each other's ways of thinking. Where humans brought creativity and flexibility, the Zorathians offered depth, precision, and centuries of accumulated knowledge. Together, they were producing solutions that neither could achieve alone. As the hours passed, the energy network began to take shape. Crystalline conduits stretched across the laboratory, connecting to floating nodes that pulsed with light. Elias activated a prototype, and the system responded immediately. Light flowed through the conduits, shifting and adapting with elegance and precision. The humans and Zorathians working nearby watched in awe as their combined efforts created something that seemed almost alive. The queen approached Elias, her eyes shining with admiration. "You have surpassed my expectations," she said softly. "Humans often underestimate their abilities. Yet here you demonstrate creativity, intuition, and understanding. These qualities are rare, and they are the key to the success of this project." Elias felt a surge of pride. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only hope we can continue to learn and grow together." As the project progressed, Elias noticed moments of connection that transcended language. A Zorathian scientist adjusted a crystalline node, and a human engineer instinctively followed her movements. They exchanged a glance and smiled, understanding each other without words. Across the room, artists shared sketches that inspired engineers to adjust their designs in innovative ways. The collaboration was seamless, a true meeting of minds and spirits. By mid-afternoon, The first fully functional section of the network was ready for testing. Elias and the Queen stood together as the system activated. Light flowed through the conduits, extending beyond the laboratory and into the city itself. Buildings, streets, and rivers glowed as the energy network harmonized with the environment. The people of Zorath Prime and the human team watched in wonder, seeing the city come alive in ways they had never imagined. The Queen's eyes softened as she turned to Elias. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The network will expand to connect other star systems, sharing energy, knowledge, and inspiration. Humanity has proven itself capable of contributing to the universe in ways we could not have imagined. Your creativity, adaptability, and empathy are now part of the foundation of a greater future." Elias felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but now he understood that exploration alone was not enough. Humans had the ability to shape the universe, to inspire, and to connect with other civilizations. Today, they had demonstrated that potential. As the sun of Zorath Prime dipped below the horizon, Elias and his team joined the Zorathians in a ceremonial plaza. The city glowed with the light of the network, casting reflections across the crystal towers and flowing rivers. The Queen stepped forward, her voice carrying across the plaza. "Today, we celebrate not just the creation of a network, but the meeting of two species willing to learn from each other. This is a symbol of cooperation, understanding, and shared imagination. It is a reminder that greatness is achieved not through dominance, but through collaboration, curiosity, and respect." Elias stepped forward, feeling the eyes of both humans and Zorathians upon him. "We are honored to be part of this moment," he said. "Humanity has much to learn. But today we have shown that when we work together, we can create something extraordinary. This is only the first step in a journey of discovery, cooperation, and shared progress." The crowd responded with quiet applause, a mixture of human clapping and the melodic Zorathian response that sounded like harmonious tones rising and falling. It was a sound of unity, of joy, and of shared accomplishment. As the celebration continued, Elias walked with the Queen through the plaza, observing the interactions between humans and Zorathians. Children played together, exchanging games and laughter. Scientists discussed ideas, building on each other's knowledge. Artists shared creations that blended the best of both worlds. Everywhere he looked, there was evidence of connection, understanding, and possibility. The Queen paused and looked at Elias. "You see, Elias Hart, this is the future that awaits when species choose to collaborate rather than compete. Your presence here has shown us that humans are not only capable of learning, but also of inspiring. You have opened a door that had been closed for centuries." Elias smiled. "I am grateful for the opportunity. Your Majesty, we have learned so much from you and your people. This is only the beginning of what we can achieve together." The Queen's gaze softened, "And that is why your arrival was so significant. Your name, your presence, and your spirit have rekindled a story that was waiting to continue. You are part of a legacy that now stretches beyond a single world, beyond a single civilization. Humanity's potential is now part of the galaxy's story." Elias felt a deep sense of purpose. He understood that their success was not measured by technology or achievement alone, but by the connections they had made, the understanding they had built, and the inspiration they had shared. Humanity's place among the stars was not a matter of power, but of creativity, empathy, and collaboration. As night fell, the city of Zorath Prime glowed like a constellation on the surface of a world. Elias stood with the Queen at the edge of the plaza, looking out at the rivers of light and the crystal towers that reflected the stars above. He could feel the energy of the network, the hum of the city, and the shared joy of both humans and Zorathians. The Queen whispered softly, almost to herself, "This can't be." And yet it is. Elias looked at her, understanding the depth of her words. It was not a phrase of disbelief, but of wonder and respect. Humanity had arrived not through force or conquest, but through creativity, curiosity, and the desire to connect. They had proven their worth, not by taking, but by giving, learning, and inspiring. In that quiet moment, Elias realized that this was more than a project, more than a mission. It was a beginning. The energy network would expand to other worlds, knowledge would flow between civilizations, and inspiration would travel across the stars. Humanity's story among the galaxies had begun, and it was a story of hope, collaboration, and the extraordinary potential of their species. The Queen placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture of trust and recognition. The journey ahead is long, Elias Hart, but it is filled with possibilities. You and your people have proven that humans are capable of greatness, not just on one planet, but across the stars. This is the moment where the future begins. Elias felt a sense of calm determination. He thought of Earth, of the team he had brought, of the countless humans who had looked to the stars with curiosity and hope. Now, that hope was alive in a universe that welcomed them. He realized that their journey was not only about discovery, but about shaping a future that was brighter, more connected, and filled with potential. The celebration continued through the night, with humans and Zorathians sharing stories, laughter, and ideas. Music filled the air, blending the melodies of Earth with the harmonious tones of Zorathian instruments. Light patterns danced across the plaza, reflecting the joy, curiosity, and imagination that had brought the two civilizations together. Elias stood quietly for a moment, watching the city glow. He understood that humanity's place among the stars was no longer uncertain. They had earned it through their creativity, intelligence, and the ability to connect. The universe was vast, but so was their potential, and in that moment, he felt the quiet certainty that humanity was ready for the future. They were explorers, creators, and partners in a galaxy filled with wonders. The story of humanity among the stars was no longer a dream, it was real, alive, and filled with endless possibilities. Elias Hart smiled, knowing that this was only the beginning. The journey of humans and Zorathians, working side by side, learning from each other, and creating together, would shape the stars for generations to come. And as he looked out at the glowing city of Zorath Prime, he whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning."